So, I'm wearing a stupid shirt. Laundry's being done. What do you want? Okay. I have a question I want to ask. Several, actually, but it goes around one central question. And this again goes with some of the things that I've been thinking about of late. This is also in response to some of the comments that I've been getting in my video about whether healthcare is a right or a privilege, though what I should have said is whether it's a right or a luxury. I think that was a little bit clearer. But I had got my points across in that video anyway. I'm getting some good comments on there, but I'm also getting some rather curious comments that makes me want to ask this question. And by the way, if this question is something that I've already asked in another video, I apologize, because I've recorded so many freaking videos that never got put up, and sometimes I don't know which ones I didn't put up and which ones I did. So I'm not too sure if I put this one up yet. If I did, I apologize. I really do. But let me get on with this. Where do we draw the line between society responsibility toward the society that you live in and your own self-interest? Where do we draw the line? This is not a sarcastic question. This is not a question out of frustration. It is a question that I think needs to seriously be pondered by any group of people living in a rather large society like the one that I live in, i.e. the United States. At what point do we draw the line between, citizens' responsibility towards society, because you do have one, and your own self-interest? Now, for those of you who are going to vehemently argue that, no, I don't owe anything to society, you kind of do, and let me explain. And no, I'm not going into the whole social contract thing, because I know how ridiculous that is. I'm going far simpler than that. Any group that you decide to be a part of, or you happen to be a part of, there's certain things that you need to do in order to help it to function. Otherwise, why are you in that society? For example, I'll break it down to the smallest level. Your family. When you're in a family, there's certain things that you need to do depending on where you are in it. Parents have to help provide for the children. Children, when they get to a certain age, they have to do chores around the house, and notice that everybody's job helps to make sure that things in the entire group run smoothly for everyone else. If the kids don't do the chores, and the parents who already have other responsibilities end up having to take up that burden, which ends up stressing them out, and they sometimes might end up taking it out on the freaking kids, who won't like that stress. Or worse, since the kids won't learn their responsibilities, then they're constantly goofing off and being lazy, and that's not helping their character, and then later on when they go to the society at large, they're contributing their sloth to everything else, and that pisses other people off. If the parents don't do their responsibility and provide funds for the food, for keeping shelter over their heads, that will definitely fuck things up. So everybody's got to pitch in. But notice that not everybody gets to completely benefit, or at least directly benefit, from the things that they help to provide for. They don't provide it themselves, they just help to provide for. For example, one could say that because of the job that I have and because I pay bills, I provide lights and heat and energy into the house. I actually don't provide it. The energy company provides it. I just put in the funds for it. If I was able to provide it, I wouldn't be paying bills, because I'd be able to provide it for myself. That's a clear distinction, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because of some of the comments I've been getting. People are kind of confusing the issue here. A family is a small version of what a larger society is supposed to be. You have a group of people living together sharing resources. Now, everybody's different. Some people are going to be sharing different resources than others, and some people are going to have different needs than others. But in order for the society to run smoothly, that person needs to be able to get the things that they need so that they can continue to live in and contribute to that society. If they don't get that stuff, then they're not beneficial to society at all, and they're bringing it down. I know some people think that because you're providing for that person, well, should I say you're helping to provide what that person needs, then they're being a drain. But it's actually the other way around, because if that person's just loafing around doing absolutely nothing because of whatever reason, they're being crippled, their needs are not being met or whatever, then they're just there. And they're going to find some way to get those needs that are not going to be beneficial to you, like theft, and crime, and so on and so forth. A family ends up, can grow to become a clan, can grow to become a village, can grow to become a town, and so on and so forth. And now we're living in a nation which is pretty much just a very, very large discombobulated family unit. At what point do you no longer have to help to provide towards that family? And again, I'm using the wrong term because it's always used this way. You're actually putting in funds. See, once you start dealing with a society, you can no longer just directly, help out somebody, say, in another state, unless I guess you're doing a charity or something. But you know what I mean. There's certain services that we all use, which is what our taxes are being jacked for. For roads, we've heard this argument before. At what point are you not supposed to do that anymore? Because remember, when it comes to certain bills, like the supposed healthcare bill that's coming through, that supposedly, and I'm using the term supposedly on purpose, that supposedly is going to be helping out everybody, it's yet another thing that's supposed to help society run a little bit smoother, because obviously if you have a whole bunch of sick people in the society's going to have a little bit of a problem functioning. You can't have a whole bunch of, people who need medical attention not getting it, and then you expect them to be able to, get a job and put in, the work to help the society to keep on flowing. So funds need to be provided. Help needs to be given to them. At what point can you go, fuck them, I'm not doing that. I don't mind my taxes being used for this, but I do mind it being used for that, even though it amounts to the same thing, making sure that people can contribute to society and help it to run smoothly. At what point can you say, I'm absolved of this responsibility? Now, again, I'm finding a lot of people coming up with the argument of, we're being forced to provide for this. Again, you're not providing it. You're simply putting in the funds to make it work. If you were able to provide it, then there would be no reason to, force you to give up funds for it. You could just do it. Again, think of me paying bills. I pay bills so that somebody else can provide me with the energy I need to, do things like make this video. I can't do it myself. If I was able to provide for someone, I would be paying bills. So it's the same thing. People get jacked for taxes because you guys can't provide health care to people. So that's a dumb argument, whether you guys realize it or not. And I'm not saying this to say that, the liberals are right, the conservatives are wrong. No. I'm trying to get you guys to throw away the bullshit so you can see this question clearly. The question is simply this. Do citizens living in a society have a right to having health care? In other words, the society they're living in, should that society help to make sure that if something happens to them, they will be able to have a way of staying healthy or get back to being healthy so they can continue to contribute to the society? Or is that more of a luxury, like living in a large house or living in a mansion? That's what the question is. The question is not, should government force people to have health care? Should government put a gun to somebody's head? That's not the question. You guys are not talking about means. You're not talking about the question itself, because there's plenty of ways to make sure that people can, get what they need. The question is just this. Is having health care, should that be considered a right as being a citizen in a society that is expected to contribute in, whether through work or through taxes or through just being there? Or is it more of a luxury, like buying a yacht or buying a mansion or, getting pedicures or something? Is it a right or a luxury? That's the question. Once you start adding crazy things like, this is socialism, this is slavery, then you're bullshitting yourselves. You're not dealing with the question. You have to deal with the question directly. If you hear the question, you've already made up your mind before you even opened your mouth to discuss it, or before you've actually thought about it, you lose. You've just bullshitted yourself. You cannot attack this question with a preset prejudice in mind. You notice how we always talk about the rational and scientific mind? This is a good example of how people are not doing that. As soon as you start going, it's wrong because it's socialism, communism, and slavery, you're fucking up. You're not dealing with the question directly. I asked you guys, is it a right or a privilege? You can come up with an argument before or against it. No, it's considered more of a luxury because, quite frankly, nothing is guaranteed in life. Everybody dies. Everybody lives. Life sucks. If you're not able to contribute to the society, well, that kind of sucks. That's the way things go. That could be one argument. I can see how that argument can be countered, but that's one argument that can be dealt with rationally without talking about slavery and communism and shit like that. Or you can make another argument going, society provides things to make sure that people are able to continue to contribute to it. Like the way a family will make sure that if there's a sick family member, in order to make sure that family member is able to thrive in the family they're living in, they'll try to do whatever they can to make it, make them feel better. See what I mean? I'm not dealing with politics here, nor am I talking about ideals. I'm dealing with the subject at hand. I would wish that Americans would do the same thing. But from what I'm seeing with some of the comments, you guys are still children. Deal with the question at hand. Catch you guys later.